this situation. Oops. Okay, so you might be able to see where this is going already, but I'm just going to connect the tabs to the sheet I want to connect, ensuring that it's aligned with the bottom. I have a moment where this is still movable. Okay, so that's tab number 1, and I'm going to do the same on the other side. I'm using this to register it so it doesn't float when I'm done. Okay, so in order to connect this, I'm going to put some glue on the foot of those tabs. I could run a bead down here. It's not going to make a huge difference because that's really not the component that's doing most of the work. Most of the work is being done by these tabs. Okay. Still a little bit of flexibility in there if I did want to make sure that that was rigid. Again, these brackets are a great way to do it. So the triangle is the most stable form. Okay, we got the L braces. All right, we got the tabs. Now we got the feet. So this is very similar premise. It's sort of built in, tabs built into the very material we're working with. So I'm going to set a depth for those tabs. We'll just call it whatever that is. And then I'm going to divide this into, or really into however many sections that I want, but this is going to allow me to fold one back. Now I can come in here and score the other side if I want. And I want, oh man, okay, so this is great. If you score both sides, obviously that is a cut. So let's try again. I'm not going to edit that out. Let you see my flaws. Okay. So this is round 2. So that score wasn't deep enough because now I'm shy about scoring. So it's sort of bending instead of folding. There we go. Now I gotta bend this in the other direction. What I could have done is only scored halfway across and then come to the other side and scored halfway across that side, but I'm moving fast here. Okay, so I got these basically the same as the last joint, only that they are contiguous with the first sheet. So you're going to see how this might take some planning, right? Like, if I didn't know the length that I wanted overall, and I just randomly cut those feet, I would end up with a piece too short. So planning both the length of the material that I want sticking out, and then also the length that will permit me to cut the feet, requires a little bit of planning. Okay, slots. These are some 3 by 2.5 inch material that I pre-cut. So I'm just going to mark a halfway point on both of these in elegantly. I could use a pencil for this. I just didn't grab one, so I'm using a score line. And now I'm going to mark halfway on the, well, I'll just use that as halfway. So at this point, coming from that halfway point, I'm going to cut a slot all the way through, going down, and on the other side, the same thing, but just halfway up the material. What this is gonna, I might actually have to clear out some material because this is so thick. If this were just paper, I would be able to just slot those in, but I think since it's cardboard, I'm gonna need to clear out probably about 1/8 inch of material. I'll just use the board in order to mark its thickness here. So you see, I'm gonna basically cut out an area for that cardboard to slot down into. I'll have to do that on the other side as well. Again, I'll just use this material in order to measure its thickness. So after all, this is what needs to fit. So working with cardboard is very fast and very satisfying and very cheap. This is going to be a great way in the future to mock anything up that you're building in another more precious material. So I could slot some glue down into that joint first, or I could come afterwards and essentially caulk it like I would a bathtub. But really, this isn't going anywhere. Okay. So, very good structural core, right? Like if I, for example, I'll show you the work that I made. I made a lamp when I last did this project, and I needed a structural core around which to bend a long, thin pole that was my lamppost. But it also needed to be strong enough to stand rigid without folding or bending. So, last of the sort of inserts and fit together components. So I'm going to make basically a tab in the center of this piece. And I'm sort of tapering it so I know that it will fit in whatever slot I make in the next piece. I have a shoulder that's parallel. That line is parallel to that line. And now I just need to make a slot, an opening in this other material. Again, I'll need to make it the width of the cardboard in order for it to fit. 1 second, Kate. And I'll need to remove that, sort of like the top of a tissue box. Alright, so I have this receptacle for the tab that I made in the other piece. I didn't really measure where it went, so it doesn't align perfectly. But again, I would come in here, I could either fold this over so that it has a surface area to be glued to the next piece, or lay some glue in here like caulking. Okay, that's all. Bye.